You can hear me now, can't you? Yeah. So last year, obviously, I couldn't make it. I had a side strain. I took too many painkillers, and I found out I had an ulcer which burst. I lost quite a lot of blood and spent 3 days in hospital. So that was a bit of a shock. That's why I couldn't make it last year. Right. So has anyone here seen me before?
No.
Not many. One or two. Well, I've been a full-time turner for the last 51 years, and I've been demonstrating 36 of them. I started in, I never wanted to be a wood turner, I wanted to be a gamekeeper, being a country lad, couldn't get a job as a gamekeeper. So I thought I'd have a few weeks off, but my mother said, "You're not sitting about doing nothing, go down the job centre." So I did, and they offered, there was 2 jobs, one was metal turning and one was wood turning. They both offered me an apprenticeship, and I couldn't make up my mind, so I flicked a coin and ended up being a wood turner. So I was 15 at the time, so I turned up at this factory, and they were just taking out the steam engine that used to run the whole factory. They replaced the steam engine with an electric motor. So the lathe I had was a drive and a loose pulley, and there were the belts going backwards and forwards, clicking away. And so I was up in the mill, and there was about 5 other wood turners, and the kind of stuff we were making was, because I spent the first 8 months turning bowls. I was a bowl turner before spindle turner, making shaving bowls and egg racks and all kinds of faceplate work. But the way they taught me was to put me on the same job for 2 to 3 months at a time. And then they put me on to something else and then something else. So, and then within, I think it was about 9 months, they put me on to piecework. They were paying me £14 a week, and they put me on piecework and it went down to £10 a week. But within 3 years, I was earning about £100 a week, which was good money back in the 70s. And but I wasn't really happy there, so I went to another wood turning company that was only 200 yards away, called Brown and Wakelins, and I turned up on my little moped, took the crash helmet off, put it on top of this car, and the boss was inside this car having a sleep. And he said, "What the bloody hell are you doing?" I said, "Well, I come for a job." And he said, "Where do you work?" And I said, "I said, Reynolds, just down there." He said, "Right, you're hired." And he paid me £100 a week. So, and then I stayed there until about 86, 87. I got the sack. But by that time I was working from home, so I've been self-employed since about 86, 87. Never done any demos until 1990. I was buying some sandpaper and some wood at a place called Isogloids in High Wycombe. Everyone's heard of High Wycombe, where all the chair makers are. And a guy called Cliff Rayner says, "Oh, we've got a demo coming up." And I said, "What do you mean a demo?" He said, "Well, believe it or not, people do it as a hobby." I'd never done it as a hobby. My hobby at the moment is metal detecting, and I go out with a guy called Stuart King. Anyone heard of Stuart King? So we go metal detecting in the evenings and end up in the pub afterwards. But he said, "Come along," and I said, what shall I demonstrate? He said, "Whatever you're doing that week, just bring it along." So I did. And there was 3 other demonstrators. There was a guy that was called Alan Batty, and another one was called Keith Rowley. Another guy was Jamie from Craft Supply. I never heard of these guys. But within 2 weeks of that first demo, I had a phone call from Ray Cool when I demonstrated at Wembley. So I come into wood demonstrating by accident, really. And 1 year I did 72 demos in 1 year. Anyway, less than the talking. Safety glasses. I normally wear a respirator at home because I'm allergic to timber. Safety boots, which I haven't got on. Always be careful your sleeve near the drive. Check the speed before you turn it on. If you've got a bold blank on there and it goes up to top speed, it could come off. So what I'm going to do first of all is a little bit of basic spindle turning, the way I was taught, and then I've got about maybe 8 or 9 different items, including some idiot sticks. I've already got one guy. And I've got lots of other bits and pieces as well. Some are quite complicated and some are really easy. So we're going to start off using a skew. In fact, my first ever round skew was that. Am I in the right place, am I? Yeah? So I was taught to use a square skew, half-inch one, same as Richard Findlay actually. But in 78, we used to buy these bars off the company. And so in 78, I decided to make a round skew. And the reason I did that is because my tool rest was made of wood. And there's lots of little dents in the tool rest if you make a mistake. I can tell by looking at your tool rest that Les Ford has been here. Because all these dents, all the time, every time he makes a mistake, he leaves a dent. So, right, so they are my first tools. Okay, I'll pass them round. So that would have been roughly the first round skew. And the reason it's all ground away like that is because it went in a gas pipe handle, not a wooden handle. I'll pass them round and you can look at them.
How do you fix them on then?
Because it's been hit with a hammer, nice tight fit. And there's some pictures of some of the work I do over the years, you can just take a look at that. Right, so round skew. So if I put my thumb towards the heel of the tool, so I hold it at the top of the handle, hand on top, it never actually leaves my side. And you always got to move with the tool when you're turning. You never turn stationary, you're always moving. So there's a bit of a square pummel, and you cut away from that line, and that bevel tells you where the tool goes. If I put that tool there, that is the angle I need to cut square here. Okay? Nearly every cut you do, the bevel tells you where the handle needs to go. So there we are, there. Right, let's turn this on. So like I said, we'll cut away from the line and then cut back towards it. Right, let me get this going. There we go. So I'm just going to bend my legs a little bit and lift the tool in. First cut straight forward, the second cut underneath the first cut, and the third cut will part off. And we're going backwards and forwards like that, and then we cut back towards the line. So that's how you do a square pummel. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. See, it's done no tear backs whatsoever. If I want that to be rounded over, then I stand over here, turn it on. Because it's going to be hitting and missing a little bit, so you just lift the top right up and then move with the top like that. The way I prefer to do squares is to do an OG on there, the square spindle, and that is all body movement. Lift the handle up. So that's how I prefer to do square corners. Right, so you can use a skew to cut the corners off if you want, but so you can go along like that. I did this once years ago using a skew to cut the corners off, and I had a really nasty splinter into my hand, so I don't tend to do it that way anymore. I'd rather pick up a roughing out. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, I do it at a slight angle You see on the camera? And the reason I do that is when I was working back in the 70s, we didn't have any safety glasses. So what we had to do, we grind it on a slight angle. So when I'm standing here, if anything comes off the lathe, it misses me, hits the guy behind me, but it misses me because I'm standing out of the way. So that's why it's on a slight angle. So this is the easiest tool to use. Basically, you keep the handle as low as you can. You can let it hit the heel, and then you lift it up till it starts to cut, and that will be the perfect angle. There, like that. If you're in square, you just plug in the tools. So let it hit the heel, and then cut there, lift it up, and then cut there, and then I'll put the thumb there. Now, the way I was taught to do that, the first guy, I put my hand on top like that, and once my hand was full up with shavings, we used to throw it in the bucket. And then the second guy I went to work for, who was a turner as well, he'd put his thumb there, and it deflects the shavings that way instead of down your neck. And he was taught by Dennis White. Anyone remember Dennis White? Yeah, he was one of the first demonstrators. Him and Frank Payne, which he was a Wickham turner. So they're probably one of the first demonstrators. I went to see Dennis when he was 100, and not many turners get to 100, not working in dust. Right, so I'll get a bit nearer to there. So that's an easy tool to use. All you've got to remember, you stand square and you spread your feet. So basically I'm doing this. So I don't have to move my feet at all. I never go off the wood, I stop there. Because if you go off the timber and then you come back, it can spin the tool round. So when you go along, you stop there, and then I will turn the tool on this side and go up to the square section. Okay? And that's all done with me moving backwards and forwards. You never do this, because this tool is against my side all the time. Planing, you can't start here because there's no bevel contact, so you start in a little bit. This skew is about 2 degrees out of square, so I start there, and I'm looking to cut between the points, or just below the centre. And I'm already doing it, I'm leaning on my right foot, and I'll transfer my weight to my left foot. Pick up the cut. Like that, and if I lift it up a little bit, I can cut the way back as well. Like that. Okay? That's only if I'm going to my left. If I go to my right, now some people can swap hands and go that way. I can't. So what I have to do is go over here, pull this into my belly button there, and lean forward. And lift up again, a little bit. Like that. So what I'll do next, you probably see Les Ford doing this, my apprentice. I taught myself to turn. I didn't teach any jokes. Right. So if I'm doing a V-cut, I put 3 lines on there like that. Okay, like there. So you lift the tool into the centre. Don't leave it there too long because it just gets hot. So you lift it straight into the centre. And then you lean over, line the points up with the bevel on its side, and then cut into that first groove. And then go over here, line it all up. Like that. So that's pretty straightforward. Okay? But if you don't get those points in line with the bevel on its side, it's quite difficult to cut. Right, probably one of the hardest things to do is turn a bead. Put 3 lines on there like that. You need clearance either side, so we can either put a fillet or half a V. There needs to be a fillet. And then half a V here. Okay. And then, once you've got that, to turn the bead, I need to stand here. Okay? You can't turn the bead if you're standing in front of it. So you need to stand to one side, it just touches my side, and then I lean over, I focus on the very tip of the skew, and then I lift it into the wood, and then move my body, rotate the tool, and end up square. Okay? Like that. And then again, the hardest tip is you need to take the corner off first, but soft when you do it one go. Like that. And as you can see, that line is still there. If I go past the centre line, then it kind of leans over or goes to a point. Now, the reason it digs in, just move this off of here. Like that. Most of you know why it digs in. Are you focusing to this bit here? Yeah? Right. So we'll do half a bead. Like that. Now the reason it digs in. So the first reason, if you don't put the tool on the tool rest first, because some people will hovering above the tool rest, they start to cut the wood and it suddenly slams down. So on the tool rest first, tip, bevel, all the way around. The other way, if you mess it up, if you go past square. But the main reason is when it starts to cut away from the tip. So if I flat penny somewhere. Just make it stand out a bit more. Okay, so if I'm just cutting on the very tip, you won't see any dust on the bevel. See that? Yeah? But if I allow it to cut along the blade, you see that dust there? Yeah? And that's when it's going to dig in. So as soon as you see that dust, it's going to dig in, hopefully. Right. There we go. Okay. I bet you've all done that, haven't you? Yeah, I bet. So what happens, it gets deeper and deeper and deeper into the wood. It can't go down. The only way it can go is towards your face. And one of the first mistakes I made as an apprentice, and I was never taught this, the guy always said, keep your hand on top of the skew. And for some reason, I decided to hold the tool underneath, and I was turning a pepper mill lid. I got halfway down, and it dug in like that. And it spun out of my hand and hit me there. Fortunately, it was a gas pipe handle, not the other blade. But I was laying on the floor, because it could nearly knock me out. I was laying on the floor, and the guy that taught me, he come flying over, his name was Jack Peacock. He come flying over and he said, "What you done, boy?" And I said, "Well, I was holding the tool underneath," and it run back up. And he clipped me round the ear and he said, "You never do that again." So I always keep my hand on top because it can't get past my hand. And I know most people hold it underneath, but that was the way I was taught, and I've done it ever since. Okay? Otherwise you get this nice ring. Right. Cove. Let's do a cove. Where's my pencil? It's up here. So if we do a cove here, I do a few wood turning lessons. I don't do many because I'm pretty busy doing production turning. I have taught a few people, like Les, I taught Les, and I've got an apprentice called Philip Jones. I've got several other people, but they all do it for a living. So, cove, 3/8 spindle. Put the tool on an angle so the bevel is probably near enough square to the wood. As I'm looking down, I can see half of that flute. So I've already spread the legs apart. Focusing on the tip, and go straight into the wood, rotate the tool, move the weight to one foot, and then we go the other way, like that. Okay. When you turn in, never hesitate, just go straight in. Because once you've got bevel contact, it's safe. But if you just touch the tool, the wood, it will run. So get the tool in the right place and go in. So that's half of it. Step to one side, go the other way. Back again, I'll put the bevel on there now. And there's a little bit in the centre, which I just touch, just to tidy up. Now if you're doing an OG, you do the same way as that. And then you lift the tool up. So you've got to do this without stopping. All the way around there. And up. So I do that as a stationary. Did you notice I had a little dig in there? No one noticed. I noticed it. Right, so you start here and leaning on my right foot, go into the timber, transfer my weight to there, and then we start lifting the tool and going back again to there. And that is basic spindle turning. Yeah? Right. Okay, I'll pass that round, you can have a look at that. Now this is a bit of a trick. I may have to stand over there to show you. I've got a selection of tricks that I demonstrate. Now this has got a propeller. See this? Yeah? So, got a stick. If I rub that onto that stick and stand on one foot, it will start spinning round. Yeah? Yeah? And if I stand on the other foot, it will go the other way. And funny enough, you don't even need to stand up. You can do it when you're sitting down. Yeah? Once again. So I'll show you how to make this. It's quite good. Nothing happened.
It wasn't just me.
It's an intelligent test.
It's not working.
Right. Now go the other way. That's going to catch light if you're not careful. Right.
I did knew it was stand on one leg in there.
Right, so you need a piece of wood. Okay, that is, what you in inches or millimetres? It's about 20 millimetres square, and it is 260 long millimetres, okay? Which is about 10 inches, 10 and a quarter. Okay, so it's sanded all round, and I'll guess where the centres are, and I'm going to use a lathe as my drill. When I do lots of, because I make my own tool handles and stuff like that. So what I do at home, I've got two adjustable V's that go up and down like that. So I just find the centres on the first one, put it on there like that, and then wind it onto the drill. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. Because it's in the V, it doesn't spin. I can bring the tool rest up to it so it doesn't spin in my hand, but it's only a very small drill anyway. So slow this right down. Okay, so there's hardly any speed at all. Being a small drill, you've got to be careful you don't break it. And the drive, the running centre is in this end. Speed up a bit more. So now I've gone in there a little way, I can bring it back again, clear the drill a bit. Right. Okay, so that's drilled, that's good. Take that out of there. We'll put the smaller step centre into there, and the roll centre this end. Okay. So the running centre goes into the hole that I've just drilled. Right. Okay, just wind that onto there. Make sure it's all tightened down. So most of this is where the square bits are going to be, which I will do with the file. But first of all, work out the length of my hand. So I'll turn that down, first of all. Like that. And roughly here will be the handle. So it's a bit longer than it needs to be, but that will come off eventually. We'll just round that over. That's going to that. Okay, so that's the first bit, yeah? So now we need to put these little grooves in here. So I've got a square file. Let's do the first one. And it doesn't work without these on here. You have to have it. Where's it gone so far? Anyone been able to do it? No? Who's got it? Oh, move it round.
No volunteers.
Yeah, that's got to go all the way around before I show you how it works. Right. So I'm just measuring out with the tip of this for the next one, which will be roughly there. This is a good one for the grandkids or any family member. Right, good there. Right. That'll do. Right, so that's how you get all these grooves in. You could turn these grooves on here if you wanted to, but there is a reason why I don't. It only needs to be on one part of it. So just need to turn that down there. Skew. Don't hit the running centre. Stop before you hit the running centre. There we are. And then this will be part of what you roughly there. So I sand it. So I must admit, production turners do not move the tool rest. I know you probably think, well, that's a really dangerous thing to do. But I've never sanded here, I've always sanded at the back of the piece. So if you sand it there, there's no way you can get your fingers in here. But you lot got lots of time, haven't you? We hope. If I was production turning and had to move this tool rest there and put it back again, it would add a lot of time onto the production run. And a lot of stuff I do, like spindles, you know, got a long tool rest. If I kept moving it, it would take forever. But like I said, you've got loads of room, time, you can move it. This is 240. Just quickly sand it. There. There. Okay, so it's nice and smooth. And then 400. So I just tap that home. Put on a piece of wood. Okay. So the propeller has to spin. Yeah? You see that okay? Right. Right, so I'll give you the size of this. I'm going to find out where I put mine. So this is 145 mil long by 25 mil inch by about 10 mil 3/8 roughly, okay? So we're going to find the centres. I've already drilled a hole in the centre, so we need to find the centres of that, just roughly. Okay, move this along. That one. Okay. Right. So I'll get as near as I can. That's pretty good, yeah, that's pretty good. You normally see if it's not quite in the centre, you can see the kind of shadow. I think that'll be fine. It's a bit smaller than there. We can cut that down a bit more. And that can come down a bit as well. It's a bit longer than it needs to be by about 5 mil, maybe a little bit more. And then roll over the edge of that. Like that. You want to make everything even, so you don't want to be too long this end. And there's a bead in the centre. And then just laying that down. Right, right, so good look at that. Yeah, see, it's the same way you can make a dicky bow tie as well. Right, just need a little bit more cleaning up on there. Anyone else has figured it out yet? No? Well, one out of how many people are here today? Quite a few, I suppose. Right. Okay. This is 120 because the hitting and missing, and a lot of this will be sanded off anyway. Right, look at that. Okay, that's good. That'll do. So then we've got to part this off. And both ends are going to be parted off. You always do the last cut on the drive end. If you part it off at the running centre end, it's still being driven, it can fly in the air. The same again, go as small as I dare. Right, so I part it off this end, with the little one there. So just tap it, that will come off. And then carve that off, just using my thumb, look. Like that. Okay. Right. A bit of sand. Now this, you have to put a line from corner to corner, like that, and then the opposite the other way. That's going that way, that needs to go the other way. Like that. Yeah. So that line goes from one corner to the other and the opposite here. Yeah? And then this is what I can't do here because I use a drum sander, and if I use a drum sander here, the whole place would be covered in dust. So that's something I will do at home because it will not work until this is lighter. At the moment it's too heavy. So I put the drum sander on and I just kind of sand up to that line, but obviously not all the way to the line, just before you get to the end, and then the other side as well. So that will go on there. Like I said, that hole, it's got to just be able to float like that. Okay? And then we need to make a stick. Doesn't work without the stick. This is a bit bigger than it needs to be, so put it on there like that. Get as near as I can. Some of it I can do with roughing out. And then, this cut I do here, not many people do it this way, but there's no bevel contact whatsoever. So basically, it's cut in between the 2 points, and I'm on a slight angle, and if I lean on it, it wants to run along, and I can use that to bring this down to the right diameter that I want. Okay, so there's no bevel contact. I know all the books say you've got to rub the bevel, but I'm not. I can bring this down to the right diameter. Just by going backwards and forwards. Like that. There's no bevel contact whatsoever. There, I think. Right, and that's pretty clean, so it's been bevel rubbed, but it's not. Right, so we're going to turn it off there, and there. Okay, maybe put a couple of little lines. Tip of the skew, and that is ready to be turned. That's everything. .240. Move the tool rest out of the way. I can put my thumb on there so I can press a little bit harder with the sandpaper. I tend to always fold it twice, so you don't feel any heat. It's going to wear that, talk that plane out, isn't it? Right, that was 240. And then part that off. And use a little smaller skew. I've got two different sizes. I've actually got four different skews. I've got the quarter, I've got 3/8, half inch, and I use a 5/8 as well. So, and Les has to pay me royalties because he sells them as his own tool. But he's never paid me yet, funny enough. The metal tone in there. Right. So this is the quarter skew. Right, pop that one. Come off. That's it. So that's the stick. I'll pass this all the way in a second. And then, there we go. So that needs to go into here. And chuck. Right. Okay, so let's turn this down a little bit, bigger than it needs to be. So that's about the right size, a bit more. What I do, find the point, opposite the V in there, tops the drill, needs to be about 25mm long. Need to drill it now, so slow it down. Don't go all the way through, obviously. A bit more. That should be enough. Move that away. Right. So just sand that up a little bit. So that will go onto there, and then that will go onto there like that. Just make sure it can still spin round. Okay. So this will not work. It's struggling to work. It is going round, but it is too heavy. So it goes the other way. Yeah. So it does work, but I won't tell you why it works until it's been all the way round. Okay? But you can look at that anyway. That was easy enough, wasn't it? So 10-minute work job. Right. It was working a second ago. Wasn't broken already. Right. How we do the time? Because you knew I'd do this like this kind of stuff. So you have to rub that stick, but you also have to put your finger on the side of the square, and then it spins round. And because I'm doing it really quickly, you can't see that I'm doing that. So once I've done it that way, I lift my finger up and run my thumb the other side, and then it goes the other way. So, hey, how about that? These idiot sticks. I'll make one more, and then I'm going to show you loads of other stuff. I know some of you have seen this before, because I've played in violin before. Anyone remember this idiot stick? Turn it back again, put it out, and it flicks in again. Okay? They go in, towards you, back again. See the elastic band? Don't pull on the elastic band. It takes a long time for me to get it through those two holes. Alright? So there's the groove. Groove is on the top. Slight angle, all the way to the bottom, towards you, back, pull out, and it flicks in. Stand up. Face the audience. That's it. Do exactly what I just showed you. Groove on top. In. Turn it towards you, back again, pull it out. Right. So I'm going to make one of them. I've come a long way to wind you up.
What's it for?
Making an idiot.
It's actually called, it is called an idiot stick.
An idiot stick.
Yeah. About 26 years ago, 26 years ago, I went to one of my customers and he had one of these, but it wasn't turned, it was carved. And I had a wood turning club with Stuart Mortimer. I couldn't figure it out either, so I took it to the wood turning club with Stuart and Dave Reeks and a few other people, and no one could do it, and I thought this would be a really good demo. So I've been demonstrating this for the last 26 years, and there's not many people here that have seen it, is there? I know you've seen it.
My father had one about 60
They do go back a long way, yeah. So first of all, you get 2 pieces of wood, the same. If you know how to do it, don't tell the person by the side of you. Just leave it to me at the end. I've got to have some kind of fun in life. Right, so cut the wood 130 mil long by 25 mil. So they're both the same length. One's got a hole in the centre. Okay? So what we're going to do, we've got to drill this one with the right size drill. Let's take that out there. What to do with the drill? So this drill is 7 mil. Okay? Come on, you lot, concentrate on me. Right. I'm just going to put that in there for saves me taking the chuck off. Actually, I'll take it off. Right. So going that way.
I'll show you how.
Easiest guy.
Pretend you're putting it out. And then just...
Don't tell them.
Just squish your fingers like that.
Right.
Got it. I don't know the other one.
You're supposed to tell everyone, you know. Leave it for everyone to see it first. Right, so this is a bit of oak. There's one with a hole in it. Through the side. Just find the centres. Like that. Slow the lathe down. And then just put that between there. So when you're drilling on the lathe, the drill will follow the point here. If you do this on the pillar drill, the chances are it could come out the side. So doing it on the lathe, it will be dead straight. Moved, there we are. Blimey, do that tight enough. Right, try that again. A bit faster. Once you've gone in there an inch or two, then you can take this out of the way. It's only a small piece of wood, and then we can do the rest by hand. Keep clearing it. How far we've got to go. Oh, blimey. Let's try that a bit more. Drill. that drill. Right. You need to go a bit deeper than that. You need about 3/4 of the way through. Has it been all the way round yet? Nearly there. Right. Right. So that's as deep as I need to go. So we'll take that out there. Swap this round. So the running safety goes into there. Right. Put it into the hole. So it's gone off a little bit, but it doesn't make a difference. It's a lot bigger than it needs to be anyway. Don't suppose you've got a shorter tool rest? No? A bit nearer then. Right. So turn that to a cylinder. As I'm making this, I will give you hints on how it works. Okay? You can see all the flats off. Good. So, when you turn this where the hole is, here, you must leave a little flat there, okay? It's only 3 or 4 mil wide, but if you don't leave that flat there, it doesn't click. So just clean the face, don't hit the running centre. It's a bit longer than it needs to be. So we just roll that over like that. And then there's a couple of different things here. Go on there. Okay, and then just take the centre down a little bit. Brilliant. Let's couple of bits. Let's have a look.
I think it's too big.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. It's always a good idea to get as near as you can. Otherwise you're a little bit overhanging, a little bit isn't helpful. Right. Thanks for that. So then we're playing it downhill. So you're lifting the tool up all the time. And then the other way. Like that. I can see where the hole is. I'll put I can put a couple of little grooves either side of that hole, which is there. It will be, I think. Maybe a couple of grooves there. Just using the corner of the screw, and then the pencil here. We used to make lots of teapot stands, and there used to be 2 black lines all the way around the teapot stand, and we used to use a pencil to do that. So it was pretty straightforward. So, is the propeller gone all the way around yet?
Yeah.
Right, I'll quickly show you how to do that. Come around here again. This is given to me by a guy called Jack Page. He just turned 100 and he's no longer with us. But he sent me this because he knew I do this kind of stuff. So you have to write that stick, but you also have to put your finger on the side of the square, and then it spins round. And because I'm doing it really quickly, you can't see how I'm doing that. So once I've done it that way, I lift my finger up and run my thumb the other side, and then it goes the other way. Ready? How about that?
Physics behind that, please.
It's all to do with the vibrations, really, isn't it? When you do that, the vibrating all the way around, when you've got the finger on there, it's locating it that way. You don't need to stand on 1 foot. I'm not going to pick you up. We pass that around. What about that? You still got to rub that stick pretty hard.
Keep it horizontal. Well, we have lifted.
Well done. Right, I think it's a quick sand to start with 240. Some people still can't do it. Right. So I'll pop that off. Right. So again, just carve that last bit off. Right. I need a volunteer now. Could you put that elastic band all the way through those 2 holes?
You're making it easier than you can, are you?
No, it's got to go in there. Right, so, same length. This is a bit of Purple Heart. You can sit down and do it, you know. Right. So this is Purple Heart. Right.
Does it matter what wood that is made?
No, as long as it's not pine. You don't want to do it in pine because it will wear itself out pretty quickly. But that one, I didn't make that. That was made by someone else. Right. So, like I said, same length. I'll move this over here. Really stubborn to do that. Right, that's the third part of the go. Now, because this drill is 7 mil, yeah, I need to turn this down to 6 mil, because otherwise it will not go underneath the elastic band. Oh, you've done it, well done. That's strange, because I normally drill the hole smaller than the elastic band. So this needs to be 1 mil smaller than the hole, okay? The same again, it's longer than it needs to be. So we turn that down. This is quite important, this bit here. So we need to figure out the length of this. That should be enough. But we'll use that same trick to bring this down to the right diameter. So a slight angle. Now, I am using the vernier, but I've taken the corners off, so I've filed off the corners, so I can put it onto there without it kicking. If you don't do that and use the vernier on a spinning piece of wood, it's going to come straight back towards you. So take these corners off. Engineers hate that. Right, get in there. Right. Same again, it needs to be a small flat here. Otherwise it won't fit. There. And this bit is really important. The shape of this is really, really important. It needs to be like an egg. And this end needs to be rounded over so it goes under the elastic band. And then what we need to do with a small file, obviously needed to go past the hole. So roughly there. We need to, this is really important. We concentrate a lot. This needs to be 45.5 degrees. 45.5. What's hard stuff? If you make it too deep, it doesn't disengage from the elastic band. So you've got to get that perfect. More. Okay, that's about right. No, a bit more. Normally I've got this is a square one. Triangular one is better for doing this bit. I'll put that far there a bit. Maybe that's not quite a good idea. Right, that bit. Yeah, that's about right. Just engages it a little bit. Right, so what I need to do now, turn a bit more here and here, and then sand it. As well, we round it over. Give that a bit of sand. A bit greasy that. So, 240. Now, this needs to be really, really sanded, okay? Got to be really smooth. Don't forget there's a flat there. I'll put the thumb there so I can sand a bit harder on there. Yeah, it's nice and smooth, that's good. So we part this off. Has it been all the way round? Yeah? The stick. Right, part this off. Tap off. Good God, this is pretty strong stuff, this purple heart. They're priming. Come off now. Right, give that a bit of sand. Like that. I think these, I spray these because I know it's going to be handled quite a lot. So if I spray it with the old chestnut sander sealer first, and then the gloss on top. So that's how it's made. It's easy enough. Has it been all the way round, this one? Right, I won't tell you until it's been all the way round, because I don't want to spoil my fun. Okay?
I don't want anyone who knows how to do it. Who doesn't know how to do it? There's got to be someone. What about you? Come up here. Face your audience. And now before you don't know how to do it. Right, stand there, face the audience, and take that elastic band out, do exactly what I'm doing, okay? Right, don't pull that elastic band. So you go in on the slight angle, to the grooves at the top, all the way to the bottom, turn it towards you, not that way, that's away from you. Then back again, put it out, and it flicks back in.
Yours does.
Mine actually got elastic band. Remember I said you've got to make this really smooth and it's very, you've got to make it like an egg. So all I'm doing, I'm holding it right on the very end and squeezing it. So you know why it's good at this.
So I'll wait till it comes all the way around. Right, how are we doing for time? Is it 11 o'clock you want to stop? 11 is it? Right, where's the tea boy? Do you want 10 minutes? Right, okay.
2 minutes. You changed it to 2 minutes.
Right. I'll just get set up for it. And what we're going to do next is one of these. Can you see that? Yeah? Can you all see that? It's a salt bell. Alright? So inside there is a funnel. So when I do that, the salt doesn't come out. But if I go up and down, there's nothing in this one. It comes out of that little hole. Alright? So inside there's a funnel, and this is thread chased into there as well. So that'll come off. I don't know if you can see on the camera the funnel inside. Am I in the right place?
Back towards you.
Bernie the Bolt. Remember Bernie the Bolt?
Bring it back towards you. No, bring it back.
Anyway, you're going to have to... I'll show you how to make this. So I was in Utah with doing a demo with Jerry Richardson, Les Ford, and Alan Batty was there, and he was making a box with a funnel inside, and I thought that's a really good idea, but I thought it will make more sense if it was a bell. So I made that. In fact, I made the first one in a demonstration at a place called Bedford Tour. And I've been demonstrating it ever since. You can download the plans off my website. So we're going to make one of these. It's a bit complicated, but it's a good little project. You can just imagine a tea party and someone said pass the salt and you pass the bell. So you need ebony for the handle. You can use lignum, boxwood, pink ivory, all kinds of hard timbers. The bell, it doesn't make so much difference because I use a tap for the bell, and then I use a thread chaser for the ebony. So we're going to make one of them, okay?
So give me a minute to set up.